I'm a drum student here at McCullough Smith, and I was having some problems with tendonitis in my left wrist. It was going on for about almost a year, and then I started studying the Alexander technique, and within a few months the pain was completely gone, and I was back to playing full-time with no pain. It really helped me a lot.
So last semester I enrolled into the Alexander technique program, and I've noticed since then the way that we lengthen and stretch my stature. I've noticed that I've been able to take better breaths, and I've avoided less tension in my neck, because if I was to sit down initially my neck goes back like that. So I'm very conscious of it. And this class I feel is very beneficial for most performance majors or guitarists, pianists, drummers, just keeping our stature at proper alignment. So I enjoy it, and I encourage you guys to take the class as well.
It's a lot more open and a lot more free of a sound, and less pressure being produced through my horn. Mm-hmm. So a lot more open.
A little easier.
Much easier.
So we'll keep that idea of head going forward and up on top of the spine as you come back to my hands. Nice. How is that getting in and out of the chair?
Felt a little better.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I felt a little easier.
Easier?
Yeah.
And you're not helping too much, are you?
Mm-mm.
Not a sense of helping at all.
You're doing everything for me.
Well, I'm not exactly doing everything for you. What we're doing is minimizing the interferences. And we use the procedure called whispered ah to see how things are going. Exhale a whispered ah. Good. Let the air return. Keep working on yourself. The up away from your heels, the up along the spine. Let's get rid of a little bit of air. And that brings the air in. And go ahead and sing again. Keep singing.
Don't know just why you notice me.
Good. Keep going up.
Even the night when I believe in you.
Good. That was a nice breath in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It just reflexively came in without effort. Good. Now when your hand goes down that way, I want you to take care that your neck does not go down with the hand. Play again a little bit.
It feels more centered here, and this is all secondary.
And this leg is straight body. Up is slightly out over the room that way. You can vary the other knee and go lower if we needed to. Before you even lift the arms, we'll take advantage of the slight inclination here to let go of the arms for a moment. That would be the starting point. Not with tension, but rather some freedom. And go ahead and play a few notes. Renew the up away from the instrument, the lengthening stature, and play a little bit more. Pause, renew your directions, the lengthening. This is stable for the elbows to release down a little bit there. My name is Brian McCullough. I teach the Alexander technique here in Minneapolis, St. Paul. I teach students here at McNally Smith and work with other musicians around the area. Not only other musicians, but office workers, sports people, fitness enthusiasts, craftspeople. All of those sorts of people run into troubles, perhaps with discomforts. They might be medically diagnosed discomforts, usually of musculoskeletal in nature, or they might be just nagging pains that you may or may not have gone to the doctor for. But we can enjoy our life a lot better if we have some freedom and ease and naturalness in our movement patterns. Our movement patterns actually start with our thinking, because it's our habits that we're trying to change. Oftentimes our habits interfere with our functioning. This method got started well over 100 years ago by a guy named Frederick Matthias Alexander, and he happened to be an actor, another type of performing artist. We deal with musicians here, but he was an actor, and kept losing his voice. Back in that day, when you were one-man reciter of plays, you had to project to the end of the auditorium. And he lost his voice. Doctors didn't know how to help him. They gave him a prescription of rest, which is still common today. But when he went back on stage, he lost his voice. He and his doctors concluded it must be something he's doing to himself that's bringing on these troubles. So he, during that time, he was teaching professional voice lessons to people. He organized 3 mirrors and could watch himself and see what he's doing. He found that he was doing some preparatory thing right before going to speak. So the bottom line is he figured out a way to change his habits and become more conscious of his habit patterns. He observed that in many of us, nearly all of us, our kinesthetic sense is unreliable. Any of our senses can become unreliable. Let's take the example of you burn your toast in the morning. You smell it, but after a while it goes away. Somebody comes to your house and they smell it. Of course, you simply got used to that burnt toast smell. Same thing with our kinesthetic sense. Our relationship of parts to other parts, sense of balance, sense of effort, where we are in space. That's the kinesthetic sense, sometimes called proprioception. We can get a little clutter in that sense too. What is familiar feels right, and unless we're given a new example, we don't really know how to change our habit patterns. So when one comes to an Alexander lesson, due to the hands-on guidance, an Alexander teacher can show you right away where you might be putting yourself wrong, where you might be doing things that are unconscious just in advance of next step in a series of steps. Now, Alexander developed this method of changing a person's habits, and not only was it good for people with voice problems, but it was good for anybody that did repetitive activity of any sort. It's been published in medical journals. It's acknowledged by doctors. There's nothing non-congruent with modern medicine. But there's a double benefit for performing artists. Not only do they have repetitive strain issues, but oftentimes they have obstacles to their achievement. As we stop certain misuse patterns, then more or less the right thing does itself. For instance, many people have too much tension in the back of their neck. Well, the solution is not to put the head forward and up, but rather to stop the excess tension in the back of the neck so the head does tend to go forward and up on top of the spine. This work is about peeling away things, not adding new things. You're not actually given new exercises to do. With your daily activities, you're taught to pay attention and actually stop wrong things. So this work is about subtracting, not adding things. And that's quite different than how we normally go through our life. If we have a problem with how we feel, or a problem with our music performance, we tend to be given exercises to do. The problem with that is, unless we change our underlying habit patterns, unless we change our faulty actions and things we're unaware of, then there won't be real change simply by doing an exercise. What we need to do is change our underlying manner of use. And then when we take that improved underlying manner of use to any activity, the activity can be good for us rather than harmful.